Welcome to this video presentation about our logistics platform for Android smartphones and tablets. This software application is part of a much bigger logistics platform that has the capacity of connecting to other devices for data exchange. It's being developed according to open data concepts and also according to an horizontal philosophy way of collaboration between data centers. It's BIM enabled and it was planned from day one in a way to be more than anything else a facilitator of real-time data. A tool for solving quickly any issues, problems, non-conformities that may happen during the workday. It has a simple yet efficient way of doing data validation between collaborating enterprises based on data redundancy, time authentication, and location aware of data origins. Currently, this application is being migrated to a modular logic where a user can install packages and widgets according to his needs. In this presentation, I will walk you through on what are the main functionalities already implemented if your business is operating in the construction sector. If your company operates in a different sector and needs a logistics platform, talk to us and we can adjust the software to your specific company needs. After installing the Android app, you need to have at hand the credentials that were given to you. If you're using the demonstration version from the website, keep in mind the version you're running is a production version and as so is not yet fully tested, may have limited functionalities or you may run into a bug. If that happens, simply restart the application again to continue exploring. To log in, type the username and password given on the website. The full version also allows a user to log in with a company smart card using his smartwatch or his smartphone by reading a QR code. To view the QR code to do the login, you simply click on the QR code and scan the code that is shown. Today I'll be using a smart card to do the login, and it's as simple as presenting the smart card to the device, and it will automatically open the app to start working. After login, you will find a menu on the left side of the app. To open the menu, click on the button located on the top left corner. Now you can see the menu options available for you to browse. The first menu option is the Home menu, where you will open the Home menu with the details you already got the opportunity to see before I open the menu, the side menu. The next menu option is the Warehouse menu, and it has available the hardware options, the DIY materials, and the clothes and protection equipment sub-menu option. The hardware menu option is for the foreman or a worker to view or log any hardware or equipment at the construction site, to mark an equipment or any hardware that is missing, for instance, that is broken, or simply hardware that it needs some attention or some maintenance. DIY materials option menu is for logging the consumption of small materials that assist any construction worker at the site on performing his work tasks during the day. Let's say, for instance, some nails, tape, rivets, things like that. The clothes and protection equipment menu option is for logging the needs of clothes and protection equipment when a worker is in need of such. Let's say, for instance, his helmet got broken during performing some work activity on the site, or his boot got torn apart and is in need of a new pair of boots, for instance, or goggles, any type of clothes or protection equipment that is required for a worker to have at the construction site. Those requests can be made here for for giving the attention not only to the technical staff at the construction site, but also to the one in charge at the office to be aware of it and start taking care of things, so that the worker at the end of the day and the next day already has the clothes or the protection equipment is in need. The next menu option is the construction site option. On this menu option you have the options work production, work tasks and project plans. The work production is related to logging the production of individual workers at the end of the workday. The work tasks are the tasks that are on contract and scheduled to do at the construction site. This menu option lists all the work tasks that are required to do. And next we have the project plans, where the foreman can view the construction project plans that he needs to guide the construction workers in the construction site during the construction day. The next menu option is the unscheduled works. The unscheduled works menu option is for cases where works are needed and are not listed on the contract tasks. And on this menu option you have also three sub-menu options. The first one is unscheduled works that are planned for today. This menu option works in parallel with the other applications of the platform. In particular, the one that is on the technical staff, on the engineering staff that plans unscheduled works for the following days. For instance, let's say an engineer detects that is needed a task at a construction site but is not on the tasks that were contracted. You can simply add an entry to the platform saying that he's going to require a task to be done on a specific day, and the types of workers that is going to be needed, and for how long is going to be needed, and what works are involved for that task to be completed. When the unscheduled work is not planned whatsoever, it can be logged manually from the app using the authentication from the foreman or from the designated workers to handle the app and start manually unscheduled work. And when it does, it selects the number of workers that are going to be assigned for the unscheduled work. It lists the tasks that are going to be done, and at the end it selects the end works option to signal the system that the works are terminating in regards to the previous assignment that it was made. Next, there is the delivery menu option. The delivery menu option is related to delivery notes of the construction and building materials that are delivered at the construction site. Again, you have three sub-menu options. Deliveries that are planned for today. In the same logic of the unscheduled works, the technical staff, the engineers, can plan delivery dates and prepare the workers and prepare this way the workers that for today or for the day is scheduled a delivery of construction materials, so the workers can be prepared and the site has the necessary space to do the unloading of the materials and do also the provisioning and the placement of the materials where they will be needed. When the truck arrives with the materials to be unloaded, the worker or the foreman simply needs to add an entry of the delivery note document into the system by selecting add a new document, and later you can view the delivery notes, the delivery documents that were logged into the system by clicking on the third submenu option. The next menu option is the occurrences menu. This option is here for cases where any issues, any problems, any non-conformities about the workday and that needs to be logged carefully and thoroughly using, for instance, photographs and descriptions of what happened, so that in the upcoming days the technical staff can make an assessment of what happened and next be diligent on solving the occurrence at hand. To add an occurrence, simply select the add a new occurrence, and later to view the occurrences logged, the worker or the foreman can view the occurrences by clicking on the option below. Next, we have the workers activity menu. This is related to attendances of workers at the construction site, and the first two submenu options are start the day and close the day for signaling the start of the workday for a worker, and at the end of the workday for signaling the end of the workday for an individual worker. The system also allows logging of coffee breaks by workers, and also allows logging individual work times of any particular worker when doing craneman work activities or machinist work activities. Finally, there's the utilities menu with a calendar to view the calendar, a photo gallery to view the gallery of photos that during the day a worker or the foreman he takes for any particular reason. You can also see the weather conditions for the region where the construction site is located, and the last one is to synchronize with the office menu option is here for cases where the internet connectivity is not the best and that was logged and need to be synchronized later with the office. And to log out, you simply touch the logout menu option at the bottom. Let's start with the home menu option. The home menu option is where the app opens and has a summary of the data that exists for the workday on the site. On this particular case, we can see that we have one worker logged on the construction site with his photograph and with his name. You also have a summary of the weather. You can view the calendar directly from here. You can, for instance, add a journal entry let's say the foreman needs to remember some particular detail, some particular small detail later, and needs to add a small comment or a small description about it. You can simply click on Add Journal Entry to add a small text entry to what he needs to remember later. The next version will also include a view of the planning of works that are planned for the current day at the construction site by toggling this button here. At this moment is not showing anything because there are none work tasks planned for the current day. To view the production advances at the construction site, you can simply click on the production button. To view the unscheduled works that are ongoing, you can click on the unscheduled works button here in the middle. And to view the work tasks that are on contract, you can click on the work tasks on the right, bottom right here. Let's start by viewing the production that is already logged into the system. This is an example of production works that previously were done on this particular case by Alan Smith and by James Ornett. Both delivered 20 square meters of beton block with these dimensions. And the next entry, Anthony Brown and Michael Davis delivered 30 square meters of Vogenwerk at hand. To view the details of the entry, you simply click on the entry, it becomes green, and next click on the button on the bottom right corner, and you can edit. If you wish, you can edit the amounts or add some annotations about the quality of the work, any difficulties that the workers were faced on doing this particular task, anything that may be important to improve and will help on improve the productivity at the construction site. To save the changes, you simply click on the button again and the changes will be saved. To view unscheduled works, ongoing unscheduled works, you click on the middle button. This is an example of unscheduled works that were done during this day. As you can see, one starts at this hour and ends at this hour. It had a duration of 24 minutes and works were done by this worker. The second entry is right below, also with a duration of 25 minutes. And you can add some notes of the works on the same logic as previously, anything that might be relevant and may assist the technical team on handling, for instance, any kind of difficulties, or for instance on explaining why the works were done the way they do and not differently. And on the bottom right side button, the work tasks button leads you to the work tasks that are on contract. Those are all listed here from top to bottom. In here is also shown the total quantities that are required to be done at the site and the quantities that are already logged into the system and marked as done. There's also the reference code between the company and the contractor's code, so that the activity task can be easily identified by both sides. And you can view also the values done as a percentage. In this case, the value is too small to have a significant value as a percentage. You can also add an amendment to the work tasks by adding here an extra activity. Give it a small description name and the units that is going to be worked. And then click send to save the new work activity. To log a production of a particular worker, you have from the workers listed on the left side, you can select a worker. Next, you just need to select the yellow button. Select the activity task the worker was assigned for the day. Continue by selecting the yellow and black button. Insert the total quantity that was done by the worker or the team of workers. You are allowed to select not only individual workers but a batch of workers as a team. Insert the quantity, any annotation that might be useful again you can type in here, and at the end click the yellow button again to save the data to the cloud server. You can also click on the weather to view the more detailed information about the weather, for instance. To view the calendar, you can click on the calendar and will lead you to the calendar. You can also change language. Let's say you are working with a multicultural team on multicultural environment and teams. You can, for instance, switch languages on the top right corner with the three dots. Currently, there's available only these three languages, but more are being implemented as we speak. Next, we move into the hardware option menu. This is how it looks. To order any hardware or machinery or tool or an equipment, for instance, you click on order a new one. You give it a short description of the hardware. Signal it. In this case, it's a new hardware, so you don't have those options below available. But let's say you have a drill here listed, you can signal the state of conservation of the drill. For instance, is in working condition, is in broken condition, is missing on site, or it needs to order a new one. You can also add photos of let's say the drill, for instance, to show more clearly why is needed some kind of maintenance, or why is needed the replacement. And when all the form is completed, you just simply touch the yellow button again to save the data into the cloud. The same logic applies to the small DIY materials. You can type in a small description of the materials that a worker needs, or you can simply edit. For instance, let's say there is listed here some nails, for instance, or tape. Let's say that the existing stock has changed. You can update the existing stock here, or simply signal and request more and type request quantity, or and if by any chance the text request may not be clear, the worker or the foreman can add a photo of what he needs and add to the entry, so it can be more clear for the personnel in charge of handling ordering these type of materials to the construction site. The clothes and protection equipment I already talked earlier. It's for signaling the need of a worker, the need of clothes or protection equipment, and is currently being implemented and finalized on the app. On the Android app, it's already implemented on the back office applications, but is currently in implementation on the Android app for the construction site. The work production, we already seen this menu option is for viewing or editing the production of works of individual workers or even of teamworks. The work tasks, we already seen this as well as the work tasks that are on contract to do. Next we have the project plans. In here you can access the plans in PDF format. You just, for instance, there is an example here, a top view of the building floor plan. You just need to select the item to a point that it becomes green. Click on the yellow button. Now in this case we are going to select the Acrobat Reader, and you can pan around and view the plans. Of course, this is still limited. On further versions, this option will also allow the viewing of directly of, for instance, AutoCAD files, take measurements from point to point, and also add notes on the files, and in a way that in a system, in a ticket system, so that any non-conformities, any changes can be rapidly propagate in the system, and not only the engineers at the site, but also the engineers in the project can address those as quickly as possible. Next we have the unscheduled works. For instance, to start logging unscheduled work, you need to simply select the worker that is going to be assigned to do the work in question. Next, you will be asked to pass the engineer's card, or to the engineer to do authentication on the software on their end, on his end, and so this way he is giving permission for the works, and that he's aware of the time of start of the works. So on this particular case, I will be using the engineer smart card, and the request is submitted. One worker had signed, and it also says the start time. You can view it, the entry. You can view here it is starting at this hour, and it hasn't end, so it has an auto checkout end, and this is the expected duration. To end unscheduled works, you can select and view the entries that are open. To end any of the entries, just need to select the entry, and if needed, type in some notes, and next click on the yellow button again, and it asks you if you want to close. Asks again for the authentication on behalf of the engineer, and the works are now successfully closed. So on this particular case, it was a 1 minute work task, and it will show like that, as you can see. 1 minute work task here. Next, we have the delivery of construction and building materials. To add a new document, you can simply add a photograph of the delivery note, or if by any chance the worker has enough patience and time availability to fill in some details about the document, he can always fill in, for instance, document reference, the type of materials that are being delivered, the quantities, and add some notes, for instance, and to add a photo of the document, it just simply needs to select take a photo, or if he already took a photo previously earlier, it just simply needs to scroll through the available photos on the device, and let's say, for instance, this beautiful image of the ocean. Select here on the top left corner. Once selected, you just need to hit the back button and the back button again. It asks you if you want to add the selected photos of the gallery. You say continue, and here it is, this beautiful photo. But of course, in real life, this is a photo of a delivery note, for delivery note document. After doing that, you simply need to save the data by clicking on the bottom right yellow button. You can also view the documents that are logged into the system over time. For this example, there is already logged one document into the system on this day, regards to steel, and with this quantity. You can select this entry and view it. Here it is, the details, the quantity, some notes. You can also view the photograph of the document by clicking on it. You can also zoom in, zoom out, and pan around. When you're done, you can simply hit the back button until you reach the main menu again. Next you have the occurrences menu. The occurrences menu follows the similar logic for logging and scheduled works. In this case you just need to add a description of the occurrence, add some photos. It's useful on these cases to add photos of what is in disturbance of the regular work tasks at the construction site. There's also a possibility here on the bottom left to translate the description into another language, and at the end you simply click on the bottom right yellow button to save the occurrence. It will require you and the engineer at the site to present his card again, so that he is aware of the occurrence, and so later on all what was logged is properly justified by both parties, the foreman and the site engineer. You can also view any occurrences that were logged in the past. On this particular case there are none to view, but it follows the same principles as we've seen previously for other menu options. And finally, in regards to the workers' activity, the workers' attendances at the construction site, you can select, for instance, start the day. In here you have several options. You can say that the worker is going to register his attendance with the QR code and with his smartphone. When is the case, the foreman simply needs to show the QR code to the worker, and the worker with the worker app simply informs the platform that he's logging into the construction site. Or if the worker doesn't have any smartphone, he can log his attendance with the company contactless card, and on this particular case the foreman needs to select register with card. The worker presents the card into the system. This is the information that is provided. Of course, at the beginning of the day, only the check-in information will be displayed. The checkout is still going to be missing the information here, which is okay because the workday hasn't happened yet. And this is how the worker knows that his attendance is correctly done into the system. There's also a third option here, and this is for the worker to view the attendance records stored on the worker's card. This is for the workers that are using the contactless NFC workers card, and the attendance records are stored on the card. So at the end of the month, if by any chance the worker has a different value for the working days that he has done during the month, and to avoid an escalating of any possible dispute, he can present his card and compare the records stored on his card and the records stored on the cloud database, to view where is the discrepancies that is causing the dispute. the coffee breaks, on this case, the coffee breaks are logged only by the worker's app. This is not mandatory. This is done only for to justify more clearly the work activities on the site, and is in favor of the worker. Workers do have time for coffee breaks, and if by any chance those coffee breaks are not being given, the worker can log his coffee breaks to show that he's doing it correctly and not the other way around. For instance, the last submenu option is the craneman or for machinist logging of crane activities or machinist activities during the day. It follows the same principle as we've seen previously on logging and attendance. The craneman simply needs to present his card or log the activity directly from the worker app. Next, you have some utilities. You already went through by them: the calendar, the photo gallery, and the weather. The last one, synchronized with the office. As you could see, there are no requests queued, but if by any chance the internet connectivity was not good during the day, the requests made that were not that are still waiting to be synchronized with the cloud will be listed here, and you have the option to delete the requests or send all the requests. The next version, as you could see, it will include a management package for planning and assignment of tasks to individual workers. This information will be available not only to the Foreman app, but also to the app that is given to the workers, to the individual workers. And it will enable your company to manage in real time the work being done by any individual worker on the current day and also on the following days. The main objective of this package will be to enable rapid comprehension of work tasks at the simplest level. When a worker arrives at the construction site, right after logging in his attendance and begin to work, he will have access to his daily planner, enabling him to know exactly where he needs to go within the construction site and what type of tasks that he needs to be completed during the workday. The worker will also have access to video tutorials on how to use tools or how to assemble or disassemble support materials and equipment according to safety standards and safety practice. As the day passes, a worker can log into the system at any time, any difficulty, problem or non-conformity, and when the work is completed, simply mark it as so on the app and move to the next assigned task. This will allow the technical staff to assist more rapidly when things don't go according to what was planned, propose solutions, and act faster with a live report at hand pre-filled with workers' comments, photos or videos explaining the situation, or simply have a real-time overview of how the progress of works is going at the construction site, any delays, identify more easily unforeseen situations, or even update the work tasks for the following day with new tasks previously not identified on the execution project. The main objective of this project is fully implementing all technological gadgets in a construction site and commercially available today. For instance, implement the usage of an OEM smartwatch for stress monitoring or fault detection, all within the systems with artificial intelligence. If you're interested in moving your company to the Industry 4.0 standards, get in touch and go to the website to learn more or to contact us.